Hi, everyone. Welcome to a wonderful Wednesday, Warriors. Say that 10 times. Wonderful Wednesday, Warriors. How's everyone doing? Brock's here. Hi, Kevin, Ren, Hugo, Buongiorno, Arena, Marco. Good morning. Afternoon, Paul. Morning, Monica. Hump day, Forex gal. Well, when I was a young guy, every day was hump day. Now it's just Wednesday. Thank you, Sinatra. Hi, DJ. All right. Now, now it's New Year's Eve, right? So let me get to my charts. Where are they? Hold on. What the heck? Hold on.
What you doing over there, Dale?
Uh,
Dale?
I have shaky hands, Blake.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Anyway, but I got it now.
Okay. I'm just making
uh,
sure you're right. Okay.
yeah, I didn't have it. Probably thought maybe I had a stroke or something, but I'm okay, and I have the charts up
My
and think.
mind doesn't go there immediately, fortunately, but I'm just checking to make sure you're okay.
All right.
All right,
Okay.
bud.
All right. See how we all care about each other, you know? And it's true. I mean, you know how they say next man up in the NFL when someone's injured? We can't, we don't feel that way, you know? It's like everyone's kind of irreplaceable. I mean, where else can you find another Steve Volge, right? Or my screen is black. So here's the resume share. So here's what I'm looking at. Crude, you know, the 61 level was pretty important. I thought I missed it here yesterday. I'm trying it again here. Compared to the S&Ps, the last couple of days, especially Monday, the way it rocked, crude has been, you know, really tougher, showing more relative strength. And I've noticed a shift the past couple of days. So I have a piece on here. Yeah, yeah, I'll get to gold in a minute, Jay. And here's a question. Here's a quiz. So anyway, you know, I think this is going to be part of the dollar rally and the S&P decline. The energy basket is strong, and Ronit's going to be with us in half an hour. And here's the S&P. So the quiz is this. You see this little area here? So I'm asking myself, is this accumulation or is this distribution? Okay, because I mean, look at how many times it's been this range. You know, you could look at it and say we had this big move Monday, and all we're doing is consolidating the gains. But you could also look at it, look how many times, every time it's rallied back up towards 3,900, it's gotten hit. So, you know, I guess if we start closing back above it, and the 39,0360 is a 2 week off number. So my bet is, and maybe I'm you know, talking my book, is that this is distribution. So, you know, we need to take out this 3870 low to get some acceleration to the downside. Okay, Mark thinks it's corrective. I mean, I think we're going to have that vote on Friday, Blake. Is that what you're hearing? That maybe the COVID relief package might be voted on. So, I mean, that could
Not
all,
100%, not 100% sure.
okay, because it could be, that event could be, you know, sell the fact on COVID relief deal. Also, I want to point out USD CAD I'm accumulating. So we had this false breakout, but this looks corrective after, God, look how fast it got. In 2 days, it did this. All right, so in 2 days, it's retraced half. Well, it could retrace 61.8. Anyway, I like Canada, okay? And that kinda ties in with a possible top in the crude, right? And the possible, sell-off in S&Ps. And now I'll get to the gold. I think Jay was asking me about this. Yeah, you see this? So I was looking for about 1686, but the form on it here is that we'll have a third drive in gold. I like Canadians a lot. Yeah, if it wasn't so cold, I'd think about living up there. But Chicago was cold enough for me, and I ran away from it. So keep an eye on gold is as or if, and I do think it looks like it is going to make a new low. If it could keep, if it could stay above 30, not necessarily, see? So, I mean, we've had a weak dollar and weak gold. So why can't we have a strong dollar and strong gold? So, like I said last week, sometimes you have to forget about the correlations and just focus and concentrate on the instrument that you're trading. Okay. Because a lot of gold bulls were disappointed watching the dollar go down, right? Almost making new lows and gold selling off. I don't know if I would look for that. I'd look for at least a correction from 1686 and the high of 2070. So what are you talking about? About 400, maybe we could rally $200. Adam Mancini is bullish. Okay. Ray Mancini was an excellent composer. The 10-year, well, the 10-year I think is in the process of peaking. And after this, we don't have as much time as we used to, but um, I'm going to hand it over to Blake. But here's TLT. TLT's trying to carve a higher low out here, even though the shorter term stuff has been stiff. I think that TLT could rally back towards 150. And that could also be part of a dollar rally, a correction, uh, the reflation trade taking a break. And those are my thoughts this morning. Okay. Any questions on that? So I like what I don't know Tom DeMark's telephone number, but he charges 10K a month. Jay, I don't think you want to pay it. I'm preaching to the choir. Okay, good. I like to preach to people that sing. I'm a singer too. Blake sings too. He does snuff. What are they called? Those little puppets. Where do I get my
Yeah, I
jokes
do
from?
snuff. What kind of operation do you think I got going on over here?
I forgot the name of those cartoon characters that you
Smurfs.
sing. Smurfs. That's
Smurfs. Well,
all right. All
Dale,
right. I'm
there's
having a
nothing
rough
worse.
morning.
Hey, I know, man.
Huh?
Seriously.
Huh?
There's like really nothing worse though, is when you get something just stuck in your head. You
Oh
just get
yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
like when that song gets stuck in your head,
Yeah. I've had
like
people
this.
complain of
La 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 la
yeah.
la la la. Right? It's
That's
this
worse than
Smurf
use
song,
less
and
leverage. People
then
have
you're
had
gonna
to
hate
come.
me forever because I just put it in your head for the rest of the day, and now you
Yeah.
are just completely screwed, and you're gonna
I
hear
I
Smurfs
don't I,
all day long.
it made me happy. So okay. Good to be happy. Dale, what's the
Don't,
one word
don't.
that you would use to describe you? Mashugana is the Yiddish word.
Shugana.
Yeah, that means kind of a crazy person.
All right.
All
I
right.
guess. Hey, real quick, we're seeing the dollar really strengthen here, Dale. You can see the dollar's just kind of coming out of its shoes at the moment, and yields are probably what's doing this predominantly, but you can see that yields are pushing up here.
Oh yeah.
Now look at that spike up in yields, and look at the dollar respond. I mean, the euro's coming off the 50% retracement, cables dipping, Aussies. We're Aussies at, by the way, this is flag support. I know a lot of people yesterday were like, I don't know if that flag's going to play. Look, You know, we got the Aussies like nearing, and you have to see what's happening in copper too, because if you're like, well, no, I don't think the Aussie's going to break down yet,
Copper
then,
finally give it up.
well, it's giving it up right at this moment. So let me pull it up. Where the hell is it? I just okay, there it is. You can see copper just starting to break lower here. You know, and so, you know, if copper continues to break down, the Aussie's gonna, you know, continue to slide. You're gonna see the, you know, here's the dollar mex.
Yeah, you know, that never gave up the ghost at all, did it?
It didn't, and you know, I'm glad you bring that up. One of the things, and I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna take this moment really quick, and I'm gonna teach you guys something, if you don't mind. Um, when you are looking at Fibonacci's, okay, whenever, and this may be basic for some of you, but for some of you it may be fairly new. When you have the more, well, let me put it this way: the more shallow the retracement, the more likely a continuation move is happening. So in this example, let me just go ahead, and I guess I can use this because there's no other fibs that are drawn here. Actually, there is. Let me get rid of this one for now. Okay, so whenever you're looking at fibs, and this is a move, right? This is like part of like just kind of like teaching, right? Whenever you have like a 38% retracement or less than that, there's a strong possibility at that point we get a well, here, I'll draw it out for you. You get a continuation move in that general direction. AB equals CD patterns usually develop from 38% retracement moves. So you know, whenever you have like you know, Dale's like, oh look, it barely pulled back. Yeah, because think about that. I mean, think about think about the mentality of what happens here. You are trading the dollar Mexican peso. You look at it and you're like, oh man, it's overbought. You know, so way overbought, above 21. I'm going to short it. You short it, and you know you're sitting in it for a couple of days, and then next thing you know, it's popping back up in your face, and it's, you know, it's almost back at your break even point, and you're like, man, I've been short this thing for 2 days,
One
and it's
candle.
barely even pulled back. I got to get ready to get out. And so not only do you have people become defensive in their positioning, but then you have predatorial type of traders like me and you, that we get out and we're like, you know, that's been a very shallow pullback, so I'm about ready to get long. All right, so that's that's exactly what happens in a very shallow pullback. That's why when you get a pullback of only 38% or maybe even a 24% retracement, which isn't as common right here, but those shallow pullbacks usually mean we're in a strong trend. So what I guess what I'm trying to point out here is, hey, if the dollar Mexican peso really just kind of holds this 2050 level, there's a good chance that we're going, you know, well into the mid 20s moving forward. So just some food for thought for those of you that are trading right now. So how many of you guys missed the Smurf song? Though, and if you missed the Smurf song, guys, you are longtime listeners. When's the last time I've sang the Smurf song for you? Steve may know. What do you think, Steve? Stelios? It's been
I
a
don't
long
know.
time.
Put him in the
It's
hospital.
a couple of months.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it?
I,
Oh, man.
following a request of mine.
Yeah, Galaxy says maybe since the Morning Edge. Sanse says the Morning Edge.
No. You did it recently.
David said we want the Forex gods. Chad said I prefer the Greek gods. Oh, maybe someday. Maybe someday,
Mother Earth
but not today.
welcomed Steve back.
What's
with
that?
an earthquake. Mother Earth welcomed Steve back home with an earthquake today.
Yeah, I heard you got an earthquake there, Steve. Well, before you guys, you and Stelios talk about that raging earthquake that you got there in Athens, let me just point out a couple other things. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Obviously, I'm paying very close attention to the dollar today. The dollar, you know, if you look at the triangle breakout, the dollar actually, this is this is a great example of what I was just talking about. You have a triangle pattern that we broke out of. You can see here, let me delete that and let me put in a different fib. And then you can see we're basically holding the breakout point and also the 38% retracement in the dollar index. So I think what we need to pay pretty close attention to today is the move up in yields, which obviously yields are, starting to freak the market out a little bit. And then, obviously we have I'd say obviously this is not so obvious if you're not a Forex Analytics subscriber and know this already from the analysis portion of it. We have an ascending wedge in the S&P and met with a triangle consolidation. Now, this is not necessarily bearish yet. Obviously we have to break below, this ascending wedge support in order for it to be bearish. And what could very easily happen is we can consolidate and make another stab to highs. If this is an ascending wedge, is still stay as valid, right? We could actually still do this. So this is not out of the question, this move higher. But we are in a triangle consolidation right now. One of the things that I have to take into consideration going into this week is that we had some really, really nasty weekly candles all the way around. So just, let's not forget, because I know one of the key characteristics of a trader is that they all have, myself included, ADD and severe cases of it, like total attention deficit disorder, and they don't understand, like they don't remember what happened on Friday. Very short-term, very long-term memory loss, only short-term memories in the markets. But let's not forget that we had very nasty weekly reversals in a lot of these currencies. Cable, nice, shooting star, Aussie dollar, false breakout, Kiwi, pin bar, gravestone doji, dollar Canadian, false breakdown, hammer, a lot of big reversal candles on the weeks. And so we are midweek this week, and you start seeing currencies like the Aussie dollar, slip on a banana peel this morning. That shouldn't be too surprising to you. So, did I just miss ADP? Crap. ADP.
It came in a little bit weaker than expected. I think.
Stelios, where were you?
I saw the number, but it's
your job, your only number one job is to tell me when news is coming out.
Yeah. So it missed by like 60K. It's no big deal.
That's not good.
Yeah. Whatever, dude.
Dude, you're
it missed by 60K. The revision was higher. Who cares? Carry on.
I forgot. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I mean, in all actuality, I think actually data is starting to matter again. So that's been my take for the last, couple of months, is we really need to start paying closer attention to economic data. And I'm just harassing Stelios for those of you that I just got caught up in the moment talking about Smurfs that I just forgot about ADP. Although I did not forget about the ISM data, which is arguably more important than ADP non-farm right now, and then which will have the ISM services in a couple of hours, and then also the non-farm payroll this week is going to be important. So thanks for the heads up, Stelios.
I'm sulking.
All right, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to let Steve and the sulker take over with Dale. So.
All right, buddy. Good luck today.
Yeah, good luck, guys. Hey, thank you all for being here, and don't miss today's. I like listening to Ronit. I think he's a very sharp market cat. So make sure you're listening into his interview a little bit later today.
Oh, that was very nice. Yeah, very esoteric.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Blake.
Hello, Steve.
Hello,
Great to have
Steve.
Great to have the twins back. The twins back.
Yes.
How you doing?
Good to have you back, Steve.
Yes,
we did miss you.
Good to be back.
So, let's start. We had some data. Who cares about data? But we did have a Aussie GDP, which came in quite a bit better than expected. So, this goes in line with most, let's say, Western economies, that we're seeing a little bit sharper expansion. We also had the Chancellor of the Exchequer in the UK, Rishi Sunak, talking about the budget, and basically he said that the projected recovery is going to be better than before, than in their previous forecast. So I think they brought everything forward by like 6 months. So there's a lot of optimism, excuse me, even in the UK, post-Brexit, blah, blah. So
Yeah, everything is amazing
things
everywhere.
are great. Don't worry about a thing.
Absolutely not.
Everything's good. And you know what? To an extent, there is reason to celebrate. In the UK, in particular, the vaccine rollout has been immense. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the stats, but I saw a chart which said percentage of population that have already had the shot in various countries, and European countries were like 5, 6, 7%. The UK is like 30. So it was it is amazing the speed at which they are they're giving the vaccine. So that definitely is going to be good for the UK. At least maybe the market will think it's good. But
Are they giving it out in Greece still?
They are. Yeah, my father had his second shot today. But
okay.
And I have friends like my brother who's in the UK is scheduled to have it on Saturday. So, and he's my age. So it's
65.
Yeah, he's 75. Yeah. So there is reason to celebrate and to be hopeful for, but we read about mutations and this and that. Apparently, there's a new one now. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. So I am always a little bit more cautious. Let's say, I don't want to say skeptical, but I'm a bit more cautious. Yeah. So also on the U.S. side, we have the stimulus package, which goes to the Senate today. And they think they have the votes to pass it. We're not 100% sure. It's all going to be about the details. We know what's going to happen. They're going to pass something, and then they're going to pass something more, and then more until, I don't know, until hell freezes over. But that's priced in. That's pretty much priced in now, that the package is going to go through in whatever shape or form. Otherwise, I'm looking at metals. Metals are having a very bad day again today, and even though
bad day for them, good day for us.
Yeah, well, yields are rising, but they're not really. I'm not worrying about yields just yet. I think above 115 in the 10 years, I've said before, is where it starts. And equities seem relatively okay. They were up on the day before. Now they're going back to unchanged slowly. Cryptos are flying.
The markets thinking about rising yields and its effect to metals is completely flawed. Thankfully, because these type of herd mistakes give very good trading opportunities. The whole thinking about it is that the Fed and the rest of the central banks are actually willing to do something in case we have rising inflation, which we get a lot of signs for, and that is negative for the metals. So where the thinking is flawed is that they believe that they will actually do something. They won't. So as long as the market is wrong about what they think is going to be the response, we're getting this prolonged corrective move lower, which gives us better levels to buy gold, silver, and the rest of the precious metals, which I like.
Indeed.
Speaking of which, silver is at an interesting horizontal support confluence, actually, of supports here. So I think it's an important level for silver here.
Yeah, this is actually the level where I got long a while ago. Remember when that Reddit thing about SLV? The day before I got long, this was a level where I got my first little long, and I wanna add more, but you know me, I add slowly. So if we go lower from here, I'll be very happy to add. Obviously, if we break higher, I'm going to be adding higher. But
if we break down from here, I think we are going to go lower, which is a good thing, because yes, you'll get the ability to load more at a better price and reduce your average, which
Yeah.
is not a bad thing.
Yes.
Anyhow, you're for the long haul, so
Yeah, and
doesn't
and the
really
good
matter.
thing with silver and gold is something that cannot go to zero. Contrary to a
Yep,
stock that might.
absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So cryptos. What do you think about cryptos, man? They've been all-time highs again now. No, Ethereum, no, but Bitcoin is very close, right?
Listen, Bitcoin came very, very, very close to the first key area of support, very, very close, which was the previous all-time high before we had this corrective move, and it seems to be having a, quite nice response higher. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if, we get another leg lower before higher. I think it's going to be healthy, but you know how these markets are. I mean, who knows? We might even go straight to new highs. Now, Ethereum actually did test and hold on a daily closing basis this horizontal support area. The rebound has been, less strong than the one in Bitcoin. So perhaps, same deal here. We get something like this before we can actually move higher. So I would be a little bit careful buying here. I think there's a decent chance we're first going to see a little bit more downside. Copper is
Yeah,
holding nicely.
I think 1,000 level on Ethereum is huge, and I still remember when we were at 300, and Leandro was saying, "Oh, based on these, I can't remember which pattern he was looking at," and he goes, "Yeah, I think 1,000 is the target." I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And literally, weeks later, we were there. Now I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's the thing with cryptos. I mean, literally, they can move 20% in an hour easily,
yeah,
which makes the whole argument store of value, etc., just a joke. I mean, store of value is not something that can uh, oscillate in ranges like that in a matter of minutes, one way or the other.
yeah, it's volatile.
Yeah, I mean, volatility is just stupid. It's, in my opinion, it remains, purely speculative as an asset. What else, Telio? What else did we have so we can have a look at the relevant charts?
That's all I have, and we have like 2 minutes left. We have Ronit, right, today?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so we have 2 minutes
Dale,
if you wanna.
any
Yes.
requests?
What's oil
Can you
look
do
like to you?
killing me softly?
Yeah. How about a quick look at oil, Steve?
Sure. Nothing has really changed in oil. We've had a nice rejection from up there,
Yeah.
posting an evening star formation exactly on the channel of resistance, which was, a very, very nice reversal. But we haven't invalidated the uptrend yet. Now, it's all about risk assets. I think we get another leg lower in risk assets. I think that crude oil will officially enter corrective phase as well, because we do definitely need to break below like 57.50 to officially enter like a
Right.
corrective territory. In which case I will be looking for a deeper correction lower, which it's not easy to predict in advance how deep it's going to be. I mean, theoretically speaking, I mean, it can even be as low as like 43 before we continue moving higher, because I still strongly believe that crude oil, as everything else that has intrinsic value, is headed higher.
Okay.
But of course, nothing moves.
Yeah, there was a little head and
Straight line.
shoulders there with a 61 neckline that it's tried a couple times. Very short-term formation, and it's tried the 61 level a few times. Okay.
Correlated assets
Yeah.
are also mixed. For example, USD CAD has not broken higher either as well. So you see it has an equivalent descending channel. It hasn't broken above it, right? USD NOK, on the other hand, some other type of a consolidation, but it has also not posted a higher high. So somebody can make the argument that we're working here on some type. Let's see.
And then a quick look at DAX.
Yeah.
People are requesting that, and then I'll put Ronit on.
So we might be working on some type of like a double bottom, you see here, but we haven't broken out yet. So I think below, like, what is it, like 865, 870. Also, nothing really to write home about having to do with USD NOK. Definitely, we've lost momentum, but no clear indication that we've reversed to the upside. What was the other request you had, Dale? The DAX, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Here it is. So the DAX, if you notice, looks more bullish than the US indices at the moment. Right? You can see here why. Right? We seem to be attempting to break higher from this flag. So, so far, yes, I mean, there's been some momentum loss. You can also see it here in the RSI. We have divergence. I mean, it's more than obvious. Here it is. Would I be buying it up here? No. But, does it really look bearish in any way or fashion? No, it isn't. Technically speaking, if I didn't have a view at other indices as well, and I had to check this in isolation, I would say, if we confirm a breakout today, our next stop is at 14,788. But looking at the rest of the indices, I'm somewhat more skeptical because it's not easy for the DAX to really diverge with what the rest of the indices are doing. So I remain a little bit skeptical. It looks bullish in isolation, but I remain a little bit skeptical about risk assets at the moment. We've had some nice reversals last week. Yes, trends have not broken down. They have not reversed yet. But in any case, what can you do? Can you buy them? No, because the risk reward is still completely wrong to be buying. So, in my opinion, there are two ways. You either make an attempt to go counter trend against the highs, which of course, you have to be cognizant that until proven otherwise, it might not work out, or alternatively, you just say you stay sidelined because, as I said, we had some nice reversals, but not confirmations that the trends have reversed. I think, though, that we're getting closer and closer in some kind of a stronger correction in the dollar, in risk assets, and everything else. So, my intuition is telling me that, as the days pass, it's more likely that we're going to see, I don't know what the trigger is going to be, some type of a corrective move, which I think is not going to be long lasting and probably will provide the opportunity to join the larger trend. So that's what I think.
I'm looking for 3,000 on the S&Ps into late summer, fall.
3,000. Let me see.
And Ronit's waiting patiently anyway.
3,400 is definitely a key area. I mean, we can easily make it there, and one target at a time. So this is the formation I'm focusing on. These potential words.
Okay.
Right. So I think that should be considered like the benchmark and the barometer and the key indication of if we're actually breaking down or not. Okay, enjoy the interview. And for Forex Analytics subscribers, as you know, in a little bit less than 45 minutes, we'll be back.
For the morning edge.
Yes.
Okay, Ronit, I've made you a panelist.
Hi, Dale. How are you?
Great, buddy. How are you? So Steve just let go of the control of our television set, and it's time for Ronit to take over. You see the green box, buddy?
Got it. You see my screen?
Okay, here we go. All right.
So let's start something without markets, but things are corrected. So this is like light. So there is a saying that God said, "Let there be light."
Yeah.
So what has light got to do with everything? So light has different colors. It always has frequencies.
Right.
So it has wavelengths. So different kinds of wavelengths. So if there was a possibility in ancient books to roughly calculate what was the distance between the time light takes to reach Earth, right?
Okay.
So let's say velocity is distance by time. But there was a calculation which is close to NASA's speed of light, which is the velocity of light, which is nothing but 432 square. If you convert it into meters per second, it's something like 3 lakh meters per second. So now, how would have ancient civilization conquered or got this without doing any great math? So this is the Indian god. They say he's the son of wind. He's called Hanuman. But there are similarities between civilizations. This is called the Monkey King in China. So they pray them or not. So let's go to the equation. So when he was actually very young, he thought that sun was a fruit. So this was an old verses which said that a Sanskrit saying that Yug Sahastra Yojan Parvanu, Liliu Tai Madhurfal Janu. So he thought that the sun is a fruit, so you wanted to grab it. But technically, you cannot fly to that particular area, right? Nobody can fly at. So what is one yuga? Yuga in ancient India or even today, it's said to be 12,000 years. One Sahastra Yuga, one Sahastra is 1,000. So 12,000 and one yojan is 8 miles. So when you convert it, you get something like 96 to the power of 6 into 10 to the power of 6. So let's get back to the equation. So we know the velocity, we know the distance. Okay. So all you have to do is calculate 960 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by 432 square. You get 514 seconds. Now, what is so great about this, you might ask? Let's convert it into in minutes. So it takes 8.6 minutes to reach light to reach Earth. So we know that sun is the most important thing. Sun cycles, moon cycles, everything's correlated. So there goes your 8.6 frequency, which a lot of people have used. So this is actually just a picture to say that it is all about light, frequencies, and that's what Nikola Tesla also talked about. So this is one more interesting. Why actually the Earth is actually tilted at exactly 23.4 degrees? So because we need seasons. If Earth was actually 90 degrees, we wouldn't have any seasons properly.
Interesting.
So let's say in mathematical terms, when people actually write about it, 666 and all, you actually subtract 90, exactly 23.4, you get 66 degrees. So it's related to the sun, basically, carbon molecule, sun. So this is the most interesting part. The Great Pyramid, it's actually a miniature form of 1 divided by 43,200 of the whole Earth. And that is what's so great about it. So it's actually like a time. So it's like 12 hours. If you convert 12 hours into seconds, you get 43,200 seconds. So that's like repetitive everywhere. So time is important. That's why every expert like W. Gann also talked about time is the critical part. Even if you see the distance between Earth, it's like 108 times. So 108 times, everybody knows it's a sacred number. 27 into 4, or you add 1 plus 8 is 9. So there is something.
If everybody knows, how is it the secret number?
Yeah. Everybody knows. Everybody uses 0.618, 1.618. But where do you apply? The question is that. So we'll come on to that. So I just wanted to start something new, which is close to markets. So let's delve with markets. Okay. So there are 5 elements to, just like earth, fire. I've chosen the Dow, the DXY, and bonds, gold, and commodities. So they are always juggling here and there, like a long shot. Somebody is long something, somebody short. So correlation exists, but it's not the real reason for the causation. For example, you said dollar is going up, gold is going down, but rates are going up. But there could be a relation. Sometimes they could be correlated, sometimes they're not. So let's look at it. So it's something like an energy ball, just like our cells, right? Our cells interact with each other electrically. That's how they actually communicate with each other. So just like that, asset classes also communicate, and they actually see who's doing what. Somebody's selling off bonds, they actually get into something else. This is mathematically done. So let's move on to so I've taken the DXY as a controller of all these things because everybody borrows in dollars. So let's go on to the Dow. The Dow is actually still hitting that parallel. It has not gone anywhere, technically speaking, relatively, in the last 3 years after trade wars have started. So I've just given a level. So you can use this monthly pressure levels are something like 31,694. This is like monthly level. If there is a breakout, then what do? You can actually use it wisely. So let's move on to something technical. This is very short term. People can actually use this. If at any point of time the Dow breaks 30,600, that's it. There will be a deep sell-off in most asset classes all over the world. So let's go on to this Dow Gold ratio. So what is the Dow Gold ratio telling us? This is from 1920s. It's always actually gold or Dow has outperformed and underperformed in a way. So right now, gold has been underperforming for the last 9 months, somewhere, no, or it peaked out in August. So that's approximately 5 months. So somewhere around March 8th or March 15th, there could be a turnaround. So we'll see that at technical levels. So, so this is again, as I said, the Dow is actually related to DXY also. Some people said the dollar actually is rallying. But if the dollar is rallying, what's the Dow doing? Or if the Dow is doing this, what is Shanghai doing? Or Sensex is doing? So this is a monthly chart of this thing. It's forming that last wedge you can see over here. Will the dollar rally and will all the asset classes, just like the Dow, fail over here? So this is another pattern. But why would it fail? We'll come to that. The answer could be in commodities. So this is the dollar again. It just held that 89 level. Can you see it?
Yes. Yes.
So it's holding that level still. So even when treasuries are selling off, US treasuries have had the most violent correction these days. So I was actually posting some chart which said that the Dow into treasury bonds, if you're long Dow, so that's what is a portfolio, right? 60% bonds or 40% stocks. So if what happens if both sell off? No one knows. How do you hedge that? So 89.
And why can't they? They both went up together.
Exactly.
30 years, right?
I think it's more than 30 years. So it's something like 1987, 1985, 87. That was a very unique situation. 1931 was an unique. It's a very rare moment in time that both of them moved down. That means there is some worry that somebody is actually selling both of them and they're trying to actually capitalize on that. So let's look at plan A for the dollar.
Well, weren't they both liquidity crisis where it didn't matter what your asset was, you had to sell it to raise cash?
Exactly. So let's say the leverage is so bad that I had somebody asking me, they borrow against treasuries. So the leverage is so high that they have to return that money immediately. So they even in export-import markets, they actually exchange these LC contracts because they want to make a spread. So the treasury is like the safe asset, right? But what if it is selling off? So they're losing money. So they have to return that money or they have to make up in that particular currency. So maybe that's the reason dollar is rallying. So that's why it's held at 89. This is a very critical part. So the plan A is if the dollar holds this level 89, what could be the higher level? So that means 120 minus 70, that's another 50 points from 100. It's the same thing. They stopped it in March, but could it do it again? Or plan B, where the dollar sells off and US market actually shoots up and the dollar could actually break down around 85. And that's where the 2013 crisis in currencies, emerging market currencies, it's the same
85.
level, 89. So 89.
89 is your line in the sand now in the dollar?
Yes. So you have to see not just the dollar, you have to see what the other currencies are doing. Okay. And why the euro is actually behaving the way it is. Normally what happens is the euro sells off, gold actually could outperform. It was doing that in 2019 when things were bad. But I think that they are actually expecting certain, they're talking about this digital currency. The whole virus is all about the digital currency. So if people had to search back, why did gold rally in May 2019? It's because everybody wanted to actually, even Christina Lagarde talked about digital currency and they want to move there. And the first important thing was that they had to get rid of Trump. But you could see that in live markets. Why? Because as soon as he lost on November 4th, all the soft commodities took off. And just before that, USD yuan actually started breaking down. We'll actually come to that. So this is again a technical thing where the levels are drawn. These are not horizontal lines. There is a code behind it which actually describes the lines. You can see 103 over there. You can see 98, and that's the barrier. You can see the volume over there. Could it go to 80? Sure, but it has to break that 89.9 or 85. So these are very accurate levels. So let's go on to next one. Is the same thing. Plan A, it starts rallying. Plan B, it does break down. You have to be prepared for both. How to swap. So this is again a technical view where it's weekly basis. It's actually getting bullish over here. Okay, this is just only technical. So let's look at euro. Now the euro actually it could rally to something like 1.37. That is approximately 10-12%, which comes to around 80-ish in the DXY. But it has to break through that 1.22 barrier, where that's the yearly closing, last year's closing. So 1.22, that's your clue or cue that it's not breaking down. But if it is below that, that means sometime this year the European government will actually do something, and we'll look at this clue in gold too and crude. So this is the next chart. You can see the British pound. These are cycles inbuilt. You can see 1985, 1970s. Then there was a credit crisis. Then just before the Brexit, the line has actually reached and it has not gone up there. It could go to 1.5, but you got to understand if it breaks at any point in time this year, 1.36, that's a cue that there's something wrong. Till then, British pound will hold up. And this is another clue that crude oil is going up. So Brent, I think they sell crude, right? So yes, that could be a possibility. You could see that in Euro GBP. So now let's look at the three rates. This is the combined rates of US, Germany, and Britain, actually. So these are all climbing up together. So I've actually done an average of it. So cycle-wise, they're actually turning up. All you have to do is, if rates double, they'll start spiking again, doubling from here. So we have to watch the rates very carefully, because that's the clue. 2018, they stopped it and the Fed actually reversed so that others also reverse it. But as the RSI says, it's actually it's building strength. So that means it's tracking some commodity, which is actually, we'll come to that again. So now this is a very important chart. From 1981, this is US Treasuries. So what if they actually take interest rates negative? What is the timeline? That's the key question. So if that rates don't cross, let's say 1.5 to 2.5, then that means all the money will start gushing into US. It has to be bonds, right? So will that drive the interest rates negative? So the timeline for that is somewhere between March and June. You have to be very careful that 1.45 is the threshold. 1.45, 1.5. If it is above that, copper, gold, everything start rallying at that point. So everybody will think that it's inflation. Maybe it's not. Maybe they're scared of something to grab tangibles. So next one. This, I combined all the currencies. So let's assume that all the currencies are falling against the dollar, including the USD yen, risk off, right? So I've combined the indexes. You can see the breakdown in 2018 when we had the trade wars over here. It actually never breached those levels. It's still holding that level. It has breached. You have to see significant breach to justify a commodities rally or a dollar fall, but not yet. So let's move on to the next one.
Cool idea, Damien said, to combine them all. Very creative. Go ahead.
Okay. Thanks, Damien. So this is Treasury bonds. So when did the dollar actually bonds started breaking down? It was November, December. So technically, if you go back in the chart, you can see USD CNY also started reversing 1 month, September, October. That means they knew what was going on, and they were actually all getting into soft commodities. So I've not mapped it over here, but you can actually check it. So let's go on to this 10-year rate. Is the same thing. Technical levels 2.36, 2.4. That's the breach line. I don't think it'll cross there. Something will hit it. So could it be crude or natural gas? We'll come on to that. This is again a technical picture. Now let's say that 1962 was a base. It took 12%. It went 12% high. So even if you say cup and handle kind of pattern, that 12% says minus 5%. You can see over here, somewhere around 7%. And 1990, September 1990 was when the Kuwait War happened. And at the same time, Greenspan actually cut the Fed funds rate, I think from 8% to 3%. And that's where the emerging market rally started for some reason. So that was the time that's the breach, 1990 to 1991, when there was a Gulf War. Was it a Kuwait and a Gulf War?
Yes.
Right?
It was, yeah. It was Gulf War I.
Yeah. So we have to see what the rates will break. It could very well go to minus negative, but at what cost? So will the euro survive or not? This is the real question. So I'll fast forward to the rates. I'll actually move on to next. I've made it separately. So somebody wants to ask any question? Go ahead.
People want to know what your lottery number picks are.
What? No, I don't think so. Maybe I'll get there. But yeah, it could be possible. That's also a pattern, but I would buy it first. So I want to win a lottery too. Maybe, but that could be a pattern. You never know.
Okay.
So, but it's possible. But the question is, where is the manual? How do you actually pick it? We are looking at patterns. We are understanding them, but we don't know where to start with. There's no manual to it. So you have to do trial and error. Probably have to do that. So let's get into crude. This is the what could actually disrupt markets more than anything, or yields could spike, and that's crude oil. You can see that 59.60, it held very well. It is actually backtesting. It went to 63.5 and it is backtesting. What if it could double from here or even go to $190? Even with a strong dollar, that means it's not a supply disruption. That means somebody is fearful that they will not be paid in dollars and they will actually devalue. So this is a clue. Not really. It could be because of seasonality or weather. I think we had the worst weather in US. How cold was it there?
Oh yeah, you mean with what happened in Texas and everything?
Yeah.
Minus 20 degrees in Texas, which is very unusual. And when you're talking about this with the oil and not taking dollars, that could be up to the Saudis, because they're the ones that said they'll only accept payments in dollars. So if they change, that could be a catalyst. If we lose the petrodollar currency status,
or it could be a war somewhere. Somebody triggers it off over there.
You mean a war? It could be a war.
Possible. Yes, it's possible, because if you really see the Dow chart, 1939, just before the problem started, somebody actually started selling the market, and then it recovered over there in 1940s. It took 2 or 3 years to actually recover. So most of the wars, if you really see, they start in June, July. So you have to keep a watch on who's disrupting it, and that could be a reason that could it be China? I don't know, but could it be somewhere in the Saudi region? Syria has actually experienced some warmongering over there in recent times. We had these Biden retracting over there, and then he's shutting the Alberta pipeline or something like that. It could be a trigger, but it need not be the cause. It could be a totally different cause, but it could be. We can give it a certain probability chance. So let's look at crude oil. So this is a confluence over here, $60, 63.6. That's where my quant model actually said that till it breaches, we are not sure. But if it breaches that, you can be very comfortable to target 81. That is any energy stock will go to 81 or $100 very quickly. That's why most of the bets, if you see in Zero Hedge, they actually talked about $100 oil. Why would they do that? So that means they're actually anticipating something before that, and there is a lot of buying. So the volume actually gives away. You can see over there, it's nicely sticking out and it's extending, and it's not going below 58, even with a strong dollar. So $60 or 58, $8, they might be shaking everyone out. So you have to watch that level, and you got to watch natural gas. Anybody who's short term, this is for them. 58.8, that's where the signal is. 64, that's a breakout. So 85, it can be 100 in a matter of a month or maybe 2 months. That happened in 1990s Gulf War. It actually rallied 50% per month. So from $10 or something, Del, were you trading over there?
I remember. Yeah, I don't remember the price charts, but I remember both gold and oil were rallying, bonds were selling off with the market, and the minute there were, Schwarzkopf gave the order, oil peaked, gold peaked, and bonds rallied with the market.
But what month was it? Any idea?
Yeah, it was in the summer, the build up to it. I think
Somewhere
it was.
around July, August.
Yeah, right.
Do that. So most of the wars, even the Kargil war in India, Pakistan, actually started in the summer. So they're very comfortable in the summer. Nobody wages a war in winter. Even Napoleon.
It's like that in Afghanistan. They in the winter they, retreat to the mountains, and in spring they come out to fight again.
Yeah, can you see over here? June, July. There's a pattern over here. Feb. It can be inversions also. So this is crude oil. Went from what, $17 to $42. That was a shock, and that's why all the most East Asian economies opened up, and everybody said that it's because of the rates or something like that. There are different reasons. Even there was a person who said in your thing that Harshad Mehta was a big scamster in India. That's not true. He actually noticed that arbitrage. He pulled in that bond money and started pumping it in stock market. So if you really see that Chinese market in this period from 1990s to 1994, all the markets went up in Asia. And then when the Fed started, Greenspan started raising rates, something like 1 year, 300 bips raised, everything started collapsing till 1997, something like that. I just wanted to show that. So let's assume that last year, why did the crude oil go to -40 or something like that? Why not -60 or -20 or something like that? So
But there's some type of resident geometric number.
Not a geometric number. Somebody was running a quant model and they expected this $20 not to breach. Can you see that circle? All you have to do is join 147 to this line and then draw a parallel line. You exactly get -39.75.
Wow.
So this was not. So these computers, they know something goes wrong, and if it is overpressed, they don't know what to do. So this is what happened in GameStop. It could happen in anything like oil. It could do the same thing on the upside. Can you see that $130, the breach of 59.60?
So are you thinking that sharply higher crude and energy prices will be the big surprise? Not that it's going up, but the magnitude of it.
Not only that, natural gas could be something like $17, which is unheard of. The 2006 hedge fund blow up was around $16. You can see over here the spike. Now it's actually holding up very well. So that means natural gas, if everybody is going electric, why not buy natural gas or copper? That's why copper and crude both are rallying together. We'll look at that technically also. So can you see the breach over here? 2.86 is holding very well.
Yeah. What another great presentation, buddy. Very interesting. Go ahead. Go ahead. You could keep going.
Okay. So this is the chart of dollar by crude. Okay. So what if dollar actually could stay in the range of 90 to 97 and still crude oil goes to 130? And that's where you have to catch it. So let's say it has actually breached that yellow line. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And it breached that. That was $53. Now, if 1.19 is actually the ratio of DXY to NYMEX, so let's say the dollar doesn't do anything. most of the currencies don't move. Probably it's 90 to 95 range. So let's assume it's 91. 91 into 1.197 or divided by 1.197. How much is that? What's the immediate target? Oh, sorry. 197. 91 divided by 1.197. That's $76. So it's like $60. You get 30% just like that. And even if that breaches, so even say 91 divided by 0.75, that's $120. You can see that in 2014, it actually made that mark. It could be much higher, $190 also, but we don't know yet. So it has to breach that point, 75, 76. We'll come to that technically. Now, this is also a very interesting chart where you say, if crude oil goes up and euro goes down, what's the breaching point, right? So if euro is like, let's say the breakout of crude oil is 63.5, and what should be the breakdown of euro? Somewhere around 54. So 1.1718. So that means with a falling euro, you could have a higher energy prices. They could actually blame it on the season, climate change, whatever, or they could say electric cars, but the cycles peak. You can see the cyclicality over there. 1984, 87, then there is a crash, Feb 2016, there's a pattern, right? Mm-hmm. So the next pattern is what? May, June. So you have to watch crude oil, $60. That's very critical. Will they breach it or not? So this is the Dow. Okay. So I'll jump directly to NASDAQ. Now, what was so specific of NASDAQ from 1997 to 2000 where it tripled? It's the same pattern. 2016, Trump came in, it tripled. Yeah. Somewhere around 4,500, 43, 4,400. So it comes to around 14,000. Here it was around 1,200. It went to 48, 5,000, something like that, 1,500. It's the same pattern. So is it breaching? So why would it actually break? So this is again, you can see November 1990, where the whole episode happened, where the rates were cut down, right?
Yes.
And
that's interesting. Yeah.
Now what I've done is I've calculated NASDAQ divided by dollar index. So that's also kind of peaking. So will the dollar rally and put pressure on NASDAQ stocks? It's possible. Many people say that dollar rally is good for NASDAQ stocks. Maybe it's the other way around. It changes. So let's look at NASDAQ in terms of crude. So that's falling. So let's assume that NASDAQ doesn't fall. So something like 14,000. So you can see my calculator, right?
Yep.
Let's assume that crude oil doesn't, they say that we are going to work from home and still the NASDAQ is same. So 14,000 divided by 144, you can say. That comes to around $97 crude oil. And yet it would actually be very undervalued. So if it is 12,000 NASDAQ, you go to 144, that's $83. So question is, somebody is short NASDAQ and long crude from last year, somewhere around August, September. So energy prices are going up. So let's move on to another logic. This is again NASDAQ to natural gas. This is the same pattern. Any breach, if there is an energy crisis, natural gas is needed for batteries. I don't think they're going to use wind and solar.
Right.
Let's go on to the next one. Now, this is crude oil divided by natural gas. So this is a very tricky part. What if actually is crude oil actually hits something like 100 and this ratio goes to something like divided by 8. This is the price of natural gas. So let's say 130 divided by 8. This should be the price of natural gas. So it makes sense that it could be a double top or something like that.
Okay.
So this is again ratio, but what if both are rallying? Can you see? This is crude oil into natural gas. So there's a breach and a breakout. Can you see that?
Yes.
So let's say it goes to 47 or something like that in the next year. I mean, this coming year. So what is 47.57 into square it divided by 130? That's $17.4. So it makes sense that both are rallying. You have to actually keep a watch on natural gas stocks. So we'll jump on to something gold. Meanwhile, you want to ask some questions?
I don't have any questions. I want to give people your Twitter handle so they could follow you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll quickly look at gold. So this is a technical level where you asked me last time that it was 2 months back. Where do you see gold? I said 1860. That's the breach. If it is not, then 104 USD yen would be crossed. It's more than 104 right now. So there is some pattern which is happening over here. So it could actually come here and spend 16 not it. Now, what's the ratio of, I've not done it, but what's the ratio of, let's say, if yen doesn't move over here due to some problem into 15, that should be the price you should be looking at. Somewhere around 1600, it could bottom out if it stays below 1734. So these levels, you can use it very easily, positionally to actually position yourself. Let's look at same thing. This is a very short-term level, 1696. Next level is 1593. Who's next in $100? So it could be a good bookmark. Now let's look at M2 divided by gold. It's not breached that point, but that means it can actually breach. That means they have to significantly increase M2 to justify the rally. So that means if by chance gold reacts at 1600, then it would actually move 50% or even double from there. We'll look at the chart. Silver, somebody asked me, right? For the silver, somewhere around 26.45, that's your break even level. If you can target that, you can easily expect something like $40 doubling or tripling from here. We'll come on to the next chart. You can actually wisely use. So this is the cup and handle, Dale.
Yeah.
So that's 49. Next is 30. So how much is that? 49 minus 13 plus 29, 65. You can see that line, 65.
Yeah.
So 65 is very good. If you actually see 29, the momentum will pick up no matter what happens. That means everybody will think that inflation is out and rates are rising and we have to monitor at that level. But it could be purely because somebody is going to cancel the currency or something like that. They're going to do something. This is again, I combined gold and silver. So let's assume that right now it's around 214. So what if it has to reach something like 418 square it divided by $65, which we got $2,700 gold. So that's like easy money. So I can rush through currencies if you give me some time. The dollar, I think I've explained over here.
Right.
Okay. So this is again quick run. Okay, I think I've done this, right?
Yeah.
I'm not missed out anything. So yeah, so I think I'm done, but you can ask me certain questions. So if you
All
want
right. Do you have anything on Bitcoin?
Okay, Bitcoin, let me check it over here. I would say that stay out of it if it goes below 45,000. So let me check that. 1 minute. 1 minute. One minute.
Okay. Skip that if you have it.
But I would say Bitcoin, you just be careful of 45,000. If you are
Okay. How about 45,000? Brock is his bull bear line. How about rupee? And we'll wrap it.
I would say that if you can actually hold rupee above 74, you can target 81 to even 100. That depends on crude oil. If one moves, everything else will move. So you have to remember that. 73.5 is the range. I've not drawn the chart over here, but I can actually tell you verbally that 73.5. Wait, I'll actually check it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not prepared for that. So
that's okay. But you were prepared for a lot of very, like I said, esoteric, interesting.
I would say something. I'll show you something interesting before we end.
All right.
this is something called Nikolai Tesla
Okay.
cellular mitosis. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say you keep adding one, keep doubling it, right? 1, 2,
Yeah.
4, 8. The
Yeah.
number
Like
actually 1, 2, 4,
like
8, 7.
COVID.
Exactly. It keeps repeating. So let's say
Yeah.
22 by 7. You know what is pi, right?
Yeah.
Do you see a similarity?
Yeah.
142,857. 142,857. Any number
Yeah.
divided by 7. That's why I was talking about light. Light has different factors. You can see the repetition. So
Oh,
the cellular mitosis, this can be used in markets, but that's the catch. That's proprietary, but you can work on it. So this kind of energy. Okay. So when you add actually 142,875, this is what is called nakshatra. That is, they say that 360 degrees is divided into 27 nakshatra. 13 degrees, 13.3 degrees each. That means one circle goes around. But if you add 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 8 plus 7 plus 5, that's 27. So if you even actually multiply that by 8, you get 216 into 2, 432. So that could be the frequency you would like to sing, and it could actually beautifully work well. So you can see this cellular mitosis. This is what is actually can be used in the market if you really wanted to work on even lottery tickets. So you can see 369, and this is like energy can never be destroyed. It can be neither created nor be destroyed, but it's always there around you. So be positive, and even if you have negativity, if you stay up, eat good food, I think you'll do fine.
well,
So
what great life coach advice from you. So
yeah,
is that it?
yeah, I think that's it. But I could go on, but I
I know
think
you could. All right. Anyway, look, you got a great compliment because Brock is here every day. He's a very seasoned market guy, and he said spectacular work.
thank you, thank
And
you.
yeah, so I want to thank you very much for coming here. DJ is saying smoke is coming out of his ears, but that was great. So you were a hit. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, thanks. If you need anything, you can actually pitch in. I just do it for because I love markets. So
Okay. And I
if I don't
put
know,
up
I'm trying to learn about it.
I put up your Twitter handle, so follow Ronit, and that's how you can reach him. And thank you, my trading warrior brother. It's really always mind blowing to have you. And I'm going to go outside and try and find my vortex, see if it's still there.
But sing in 432 hertz. So you would actually sing with the guitar. So
All right.
you could actually do this. You could actually go and see 432 hertz music guitaring. So you
Huh.
would find amazing stuff. Yeah, yeah.
All
Even
right.
there is a saying that even you hum, right? When you actually sing a song, somebody who's singing well, their frequency could be 432 hertz. So,
Huh. No wonder people love music.
yeah,
So
and no wonder everyone loves you because you always say amen, and you actually always put out that positive energy. So positive energy is,
yeah, do what I say, not what I do.
yes.
All right. So
Really
Sonny, I
good.
put out his here. I'll do it again to everyone. I'll put out his um,
Wait, I think
Twitter
I'll
handle.
do behind you so you can see
Okay.
behind.
And so there. Thanks again, buddy. It was
Thanks,
really great.
thanks, Dale.
All right, and I appreciate it, and we'll have you back in June. Okay.
Sure, sure. Maybe that's a cycle.
Okay. Everyone, roan it,
Thanks, man.
and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Remember, don't just count your resonance, count your blessings,
And
which
how
I'm
do you
sure
bless?
are numbers too. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. Thank you. And Morning Edge is starting in a minute here, so I have to go.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you later. Bye bye.
Bye.